Hey, and welcome for another video for English for Engineering. My name is Sharif Ismail. I'm an English language fellow in Mongolia. Today, we're going to be talking about safety and precautions. Safety first. What does safety first mean? Safety first means be careful, be aware, be safe, and safety before anything else. Safety is before anything else. Safety comes before work, before money, before you start anything. Safety first. The slogan safety first means it's always best to be safe rather than sorry. It may seem like an easy way out of any responsibility or concern for our own lives, but in reality, taking precautions will keep us safe from all sorts of accidents. So it's always best to be safe rather than sorry. That means before you start driving your car, make sure you have your seatbelt on, because if you have an accident, yes, you will be sorry, but it's better to be safe than sorry. So put your seatbelt on before you start driving. What do we see here in the picture? That's correct. We see different types of accidents or work injuries, work accidents. What do you think happened to this guy right here? Hmm. Maybe he had a heat wave or a heat stroke. There was a heat wave and he had a heat stroke, and that's why he fell down on the ground. Maybe something fell on him. What about this guy? Maybe he got electrocuted. They're not trying to touch him because they might get electrocuted as well. What do you think about this picture? This guy has a lot of live wires around him, which might be very dangerous. There's a lot of hazard around him. This guy got electrocuted. He doesn't have gloves on. There's a fire accident here. Okay. Work safety. What do you see here in the picture? That's correct. We see work safety precautions. First, before you start your job, you'll usually have a safety training on how to handle work and how to have a safe environment at work. This safety training is um, required by law in so many countries for so many jobs. Even teachers sometimes have to take safety trainings in the US. Tools knowledge, you need to be aware and knowledgeable enough and aware of the tools that you'll be using, because some of them will be dangerous. Like if you're going to be using a power saw, that might be very dangerous. So you need to have tools knowledge, and that's what you do at school, or that's what you learn about when you do the safety training or before you start your job. Experience. You need to have experience with the job that you will be doing, how to handle using a saw, how to handle high voltage. Safety first, precautions and gear, safety gear like helmets, protective glasses. You need to wear these at all times at work, especially if you're doing labor work on the field or outdoors. You need to have this. Uh, you need to have these safety gear items. Regulations. There are a lot of regulations that um, protect safety at work. Insurance. A lot of employees that work at a work site, they have insurance, and sometimes the work site itself has insurance. For example, a lot of companies, they have fire insurance in case a fire happens at a company, or they have also health insurance for the employees, injury insurance in case an employee gets injured on site. The insurance will cover them in terms of their medical bills and their treatment. Health insurance protection. Okay, let's look at these signs right here. We have a lot of hazard signs. I'm going to give you some time to look at these signs. You go ahead and pause the video and look at all these signs. Okay, now you pause the video. Um, let's look at the signs. Which sign is it? When you see this sign, you should wear a mask. Which sign is it? Huh? Which sign is it that makes you wear a mask. Maybe the biological hazard sign or laser hazard sign. Maybe you use protective glasses but not the mask. It depends. Some masks they cover the whole face, including the eyes, so you don't need protective glasses if you wear this mask. So I would say maybe laser hazard. Um, yeah. Okay. Biological hazard that could be blood, human fluid. You have to be very careful handling blood or human fluid because it can transfer a disease to your body. So you probably would need to wear gloves. You would see the sign at a hospital probably. Okay. When you see the sign, now I want you to ask questions to your classmates or to your partner or ask yourself. When you see the sign, you need to walk slowly and walk carefully. Probably trip and hazard. When you see the sign, you need to dress in heavy clothes. Extreme cold sign. Where would you find the extreme cold sign? Probably at inside a refrigerator. Yeah. When you see the sign, you should wash your hands after you leave in that site. Poison sign. When you see the sign, you should have a fire extinguisher nearby, flammable. When you see the sign, you shouldn't be smoking, flammable. Okay. When you see the sign, you should keep your hands away, hot service. When you see the sign, you need to walk carefully, magnetic field. Because if you walk into a magnetic field, there might be a big magnet that's really sensitive to metal, so you have to be careful. When you see the sign, you have to be aware that there might be bears in that area, bear zone. When you see the sign, you have to drive very slowly, slippery road. When you see the sign, you have to have sturdy shoes, slippery floor. Okay, moving forward. Which one is it? You wear it to protect your head from falling objects. Hard hat or hard helmet. You wear it to protect your hands. Work gloves. You wear it to protect your eyes. Eye protection glasses. Okay, you wear it to protect your lungs. Appropriate respirator or mask. You wear it to protect your ears. Hearing protection. You wear it to protect your feet. Work shoes like boots. You wear it to protect your body. Long trousers. They're usually heavy duty trousers, right? You wear it to be visible, high visibility, safety vest. You wear this vest so people will see you, especially at nighttime, right? It might be very dark and people don't see you. And these vests are very reflective of light, especially if you work in traffic. You have to have this high visibility safety vest. All of this considered personal protective equipment. Okay. Site safety. You might see these warning signs on site, like warning, dangerous site. Parents are advised to warn their children of the dangers of entering this site. We see also danger, demolition in progress. What's demolition? Like here in the picture, this is demolition. So whenever you see this exclamation mark in a triangle, that means it's danger zone. Sometimes if you're driving your car, you will see the sign on the road. That means be careful that the road might be bumpy or there might be construction. This sign, what does it mean? Safety helmets must be worn. This sign, ear protectors must be worn. This sign, high visibility jackets must be worn. This sign, protective footwear must be worn. And we have another warning sign here, overhead loads. That means things might be falling on you. So you have to be very careful and wear your safety helmets. You need to be aware of your surroundings. Be careful when you walk. Look around, look right, look to your right, look to your left. Make sure you have your helmet on. Unauthorized entry to this site is strictly forbidden. That means you cannot enter this area. Stay away. Where is it possible to see these signs and why? Pause the video and think a little bit. Where is it possible to see these signs and why? Okay. Protective glasses. Where is it possible that you'd see these signs? Maybe at a mechanic workshop, welding workshop, helmet. Maybe at a construction site, face mask. Maybe at a hospital, maybe at a welding site, protective uh, uh, headphones or hearing protective aids. You might be wearing this at a mining site where there are a lot of explosions, shooting range where people are shooting guns. Protective footwear, that might be in a place where there's a lot of concrete, wet ground, right? Chemical fluid on ground. Murder scene where there's a lot of blood, you have to have protective footwear. Gloves. There are different types of gloves. It depends on where you're working. Doctors use gloves, engineers use gloves, electricians use gloves. So it might be at different sites depending. Body suit. It depends also which work site you're at. If it's a hospital, doctors dress. If it's a surgery, doctors have their own protective body gear. Mechanics have their own protective body gear. Um, Astronauts, they have their own protective body gear. Scuba divers, they have their own wetsuits. Okay, where would you see these signs? Maybe at a factory, work site, construction site, like falling objects that might be in a construction site. Okay, gas station for no smoking. What does this sign mean? It's a first aid sign, meaning they have first aid stuff. You could see that at a school, at a hospital, right? Okay, moving forward. I'm going to give you some time to look at these signs too. Pause the video and look at them and tell me, where is it possible to see these signs and why? Okay, now you pause the video. Huh? Danger, construction site. You will see this at a construction site. Um, this one at a factory, maybe. This one at a gas station, maybe. Gas station, factory, factory, factory. This sign, you can see it anywhere, at a school, at any building. We have to have an emergency exit, or you have to know where the exits are. In case of fire, earthquakes, any emergency situation, you need to know where to exit the building. And we talked about these before. Hazard awareness chart. Usually the hazard signs or the warning signs, they have different colors. Usually when it's red, that means it's very dangerous or severe hazard. If it's blue, maybe moderate. If it's yellow, slight or minimal hazard, right? Red is usually fire hazard, blue, health hazard, um, white, specific hazard, same with the yellow. So, for example, what would be fire hazard? Flammable objects, no smoking, like you see here, compressed gas, right? They're all in red. Compressed gas, that anything that's compressed that might explode at any time, especially if there's heat applied to it. You see, we have here different signs. Okay, so hazard symbols: compressed gas, flammable material like gasoline, um, you know, oxidizing. That means there are gases that are coming out uh, of that object. Explosion hazard. That means this object might explode at any time, so be careful. Harmful or fatal, poisonous, some material. Biohazard. Bio means biological, so it's body fluid usually, or a dead cow. A dead cow might be a biohazard. That's why you have to wear your protective gear when you get too close to a dead animal, because it's a biohazardous. Coercive, health hazard, harmful to the environment. And here we have personal protection gear. We already looked at a lot of them. I don't think any of them is new, maybe except the full protection suit. During COVID, a lot of people had the full protection suit to protect their body. Self-contained air respirator. That's in if you're in a place that has harmful gases. Uh, you wear this and you have an oxygen tank with you. Vapor respirator. If there's any harmful gases like CO1, you have to wear this mask. Also, if you're really, really close to a dead animal, you probably have to wear this mask, or a dead person, protect you from the gases in the air. Inhaling these gases can be very harmful. Dust mask. This is in a construction site. Apron. That's restaurants. You see a lot of people wear that to protect their body from fluids, from food. Okay. 10 workplace safety tips not to be missed. Follow safety procedures always. Don't take shortcuts. Clean up, because there might be a lot of hazard on the floor, like glass, metal, sharp objects that could be hazardous on the floor. So you always need to clean up. Clean and organize work area, because if you leave stuff on the floor that might be hazardous, like a chair or a table, somebody might trip on them and fall. Always want to make sure that your work area is clean and safe. That could be a classroom too, so make sure the classroom is clean, it's safe, no nails on the floor, no sharp objects, there is an exit route. I see some classes, sometimes they have desks everywhere and there's nowhere to exit. You always want to make sure you have an exit space in your classroom. Emergency exit location. Be alert on the job. Be careful. Take regular breaks, especially if you work outdoors and it's very hot. You might get a heat stroke, or if it's really cold, also you need to take breaks. Make sure your body is warming up. Be vigilant if you work outdoors. Sometimes there's a lot of traffic, or it depends where you're at. You got to be vigilant. Make sure you have a first aid box with you that has band-aids, you know, whatever that you need for injuries, first aid injuries. Immediately report any incidents. If you see anything wrong, they always say, if you see something, say something. We have also safety tips every employee should know. Same thing, don't take shortcuts. Make sure you're always wearing the right personal protective gear or equipment, such as hard hat, goggles, earplugs, and overalls. Know your surroundings. The more familiar you are with your tasks and workplace, the more aware you'll be of the potential hazards. Take a break. Our brain just weren't built for extended focus. We demand for it. Give yourself a break to regain your focus, and thereby become more aware of your surroundings. Report unsafe conditions. Like we said before, while your employer is legally required to provide a safe workplace, they might be unaware of any unsafe conditions. If you're aware of anything potentially hazardous, report it to your supervisor. For example, I know somebody who used to work at a company where they had a lot of flammable liquid jars, and they didn't take enough precautions, so a fire happened. So if you know that might be not a good idea to have these items somewhere, let your boss know, or let your supervisor know. Or if you notice something that's wrong, let your supervisor know. Okay, that comes to the end of our lesson today. And I want to ask you, what is it? Why is it important to follow safety procedures at work? Two, what are some protective gear items you might need to wear at work? What are some examples of hazardous material at the work site? And that comes to the end of our lessons today. Thank you for listening and have a good day.